Oh, okay. So to start this meeting together, I feel like we're not alone anymore somehow now, like there's this widening field, there's more people, somebody will watch. So welcome everybody that is kind of joining us here. We wanted to meet with Tina today to share with you a bit of things that are somehow important for us and for her, for what we are co-creating together and what she's gonna bring. So yeah, welcome. And it's so interesting in this moment, the idea that people are, oh, they are watching this, it brings some kind of small stress. And the theme of our, that what we decided we're gonna do, it's really like, it's stress and what is stress and how it's related to our lives and how do we deal with it and how we confront it and what are the different types of stress. And there's this burnout pandemic happening. So when we say about stress, I feel like there's so many of us saying, oh yes, even kids in school, when I go to school to do some stuff with kids, I ask them about stress and they are also stressed. So we're using this word as it's something normal and also like something it's just part, it's just how it is, so I'm really glad that we came with this theme, to see that okay, we don't need to accept that we're living in constant state of reaction to stress, because this is how I see it. There's stress and there's our adaptation to it of what is causing it. So there's this word, and then there behind the word there's this, what is it actually, how does it affect our bodies, how we deal with it. So I know, Tina, you've been through a very stressful period yourself as well. This theme is in your body, and the Bodynamic tools, you were able now really in the years to use them in the situation that was really, difficult. And many people maybe watching have the same. So can you say a bit more about maybe why did you choose, why did you decide it for yourself, okay, this is the theme through which I want to introduce Bodynamic, or why is it important for you?
It's a very good question. I think, stress is very different from person to person. And it's a word we use, as you explain, for many things. But stress is actually a thing that we are born with or born to go through as a normal process in life. The actual birth of a baby is very, very stressful for the baby and for the mother. And this is probably the first experience of a very high stress situation. And the way we go through the stress and the way our body is organized to go through it often determines our relationship with stress, high arousal or low arousal. Both can be stressful. How we cope with it later in life. And it's not to say that the more storms we go through, and with that I mean difficult situations in life, the better I get, the more robust and the more resilience I have. That doesn't equal each other. There is a way of going through these storms in life. Things that comes our way that, we sit back and we think, why me? And it's no secret that I've been through a year of cancer treatment, and I was thinking, why me? But I can sit and think, why me? It doesn't make any sense. So how do I go through this storm, prepared or not prepared for it? Because can you prepare for stress? Yes, you can, in my thinking, and in the bodynamic thinking, yes, we can prepare for tough times in life. And then when you are in the storm, the way you go through it is determined by your defense mechanism, meaning your personality, what you have experienced so far, and you can fight against it, or you can try and run away from it, or you can go with the flow. But in order to go with the flow, meaning just going with what is happening in this big storm you are in, takes some resilience, some hope, some courage, which you can learn. And the bodynamic system actually had a lot of tools and a way of looking at it, where if you manage that, you can grow immensely from going through the storm, not around it. Don't try to avoid it, but go through it. It will give you, with some tools and a way of looking at it and a way of orientating in it, can give you some amazing tools afterwards. When you go through the storm and you get out on the other side where I am now, then you are like, who am I now? After a year like that, or other things, it doesn't have to be critical illness. It can be many things in life that are stressful. Who am I now? That place to start looking, who am I? I'm still me, but what is me now? Because your defenses will have changed. Your way of looking at life, being in life will have changed. For us who work with other people, we can use these tools that I'm going to show you in Slovenia when I come to visit you and do this workshop. We can use them on ourselves, because we sit every day with people who are in some kind of stress level. And we can use them with our clients to get them to be more centered, more grounded, more leaning back and being in life, instead of having to do something all the time or not do anything, but be conscious about our choices, how we are in the storm and how we are afterwards. And that's why these 3 days in Slovenia is very personal to me, because I know these tools, they work. And it will be, a pleasure for me, and I'll be quite grateful if I could just be a little bit of inspiration and provide these bodynamic tools to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I will have a question now for you, because I was listening and thinking about my own experience with embodiment and somatics and defense mechanisms, and you said how we change and how stressful situations change us, or our defenses change. It's very true. And then I started to think about a body way of approaching stress, or somatics. So my question for you is, like, I really realized that for me this works. And when people come to psychotherapy, many times I feel there's this disconnection from really just relating and knowing there's so many resources inside this body already to find the ground, the calmness, even in the storm, But the path towards there's very different, and also regarding the personalities, regarding defenses, and so on. So my question is, how do you see, regarding the tools and bodynamic approach, the use of this physical somatic work, not just for ourselves, but also for dealing with clients, because especially people that work with people, there's this empathic burnout theme happening, where we're just losing our ground because it's overwhelming sometimes. So how can we really use these tools that you're mentioning to, like, every day? So what is Yeah, I'm sometimes bad with asking questions concrete because then I start explaining. So I don't know if I'm clear, but what I want to say is, yes, I know that somatic work, working with body really works. And how does, through the bodynamic approach and from your own way, how do you see this worked? Like what would you say that it will be different when people come to the workshop and they see, what can they take it out for themselves?
In Bodynamic, we work with the whole body. We work with the difference between the right side of the body and the left side of the body, because it's two separate parts and they can have a different coding. So inside, I can go and have the interpretation that I'm not good enough. But to the outside, I play out that I have self-esteem and self-worth. That becomes a dilemma over time. And in a way, it will, if it's big enough, eat me up from the inside. Excuse my language, but it can feel like that. Mm. So starting to observe ourselves and starting to know my body sensations, create this increased awareness of what is happening in my body. Why do I act out this way, but I feel different? Or it could be the other side as well, yeah, that I act to the outworld that I'm not worth very much. I don't know, I know little, but inside I'm like, no, I feel different. That is determined of how we were brought up and the experiences we have in life. In Bodynamic, we distinguish between the left and the right side to adjust these dilemmas. And we also adjust when the two sides are the same and people can't really observe that, here I have a problem. I keep running into problems, but I feel the same as I act out. Mm. But it can be seen in the muscle codings, as we call it. The tense muscle and the collapsed muscle, they have different amount of energy. They have different impulses to actions. And to make an action, we need our muscles to act out. And if I lack impulse, I have no actions. Mm-hmm. And then you can say, is it an action to not do anything? Well, at some point, it had been very, very useful to not act out. Mm-hmm. And this is where Bodynamic has a psychological function in each muscle. Mm-hmm. So an example in the workshop could be that I would work with the muscles that hold up the spine to create awareness of what is my relationship with, these big erector-spinae muscles, as we call them, erector-spinae, to hold me up in life, which is a big thing when we talk about stress. Here I will do various exercises to increase the awareness so that you as a therapist, psychologist, whoever you are in your work, working with people, you can start to be aware of what you do yourself. Do I sit like this? Have I activated my erector-spinae? And the one sitting in front of you will look at what you do and they will mirror. Already there we start. I can hold myself, and therefore this becomes a more safe place to be in. And I have to create this awareness. So I start with myself. And then I can use these exercises with the client as well, for them to feel, whoa, is this how it is and how it feels to hold yourself up in life? So this is, if the muscle is slightly collapsed, then when you get stressed, it's better if you see it from side, it will start doing this. If I collapse enough, I will end up in a fetal position. Wow. And some people go there And I went there myself in the last year, but I knew I did it. I could see it. I could observe. I had the awareness. And this is what I would love to give people. Observe yourself. See what you are doing. There's nothing wrong in what you are doing. But see it so you know when it's time to do something else. And then get the tools to get yourself up again. And then sometimes I need to really hold on to dear life. When is it time to let go a little bit again and lean into the chair? These are some of the ways that we are going to work through these 3 days on yourself, and you can use it on your clients immediately.
Super. I'm really promoting that it's going to be super practical, but now you even gave an example in which way practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just when you started to say about the muscles, I could feel, my own, okay, how is. So it was really beautiful just to bring this awareness. Okay, it's like, what is the sitting position, and to work with this awareness, and wow, okay, the muscles in the back. So yeah, I just made me more curious about. And you even mentioned before when we spoke about this reaching, right? This how in life, when we are in stressful situations, there's this, do I reach for support? Do I not reach? How am I dealing with that? So wow, the theme is just for, I think, for 10 days of workshop.
It's for the rest of life, yeah. Because, as we talked about before we started the recording, the ability to ask for help. It's something we learn during our development. And our experience very early on in life of I reached out for help, what was the outcome of that? That will come forward as a bright light when we are very stressed. Do we know what help is at all? Do we know what we need, would like, or what we want in that situation? And can we actually do it? And asking for help can be translated into a physical movement. Yeah. And yes, it's about reaching out. Where do I reach out from? But when I reach out and I don't get what I need, what do I do then? Do I then have the awareness of boundaries being crossed, too much, too little, social balance in I expect this and the other person expect this? What do I do it? All these things are related to special muscles in your body, and some of them will lack energy, some of them will have energy that is held back in order to control people helping. And the approach in Bodynamic is very often that we build up resources in order to be more capable of looking at the things where we have challenges.
And this is why we also called it, right? It was in the title, like building resourcefulness or resources. Yeah. And one of the resources, knowledge and awareness, but also, as you said, to experience, to sense, to feel, and to know what to do. I think sometimes we're just clueless, like what can I do now? So it's really, wow. I'm so
and excited. I think yeah, and I think that is very important for me, is to see if I can build upon my curiosity when things in life are very stressful, when things around me are not going easily. Yeah, how can I keep hold on my hope, first of all, but for my curiosity? How can I look at, I wonder what this is? Yeah, it's not really going to plan. The storm is racing around me. What kind of storm is this? imagine if I could come from there. And it's a life strategy in itself, but it's also something you can learn, because in Bodynamic we work with autonomy, we call it, which is curiosity and motivation. So I can go in and I can activate autonomy muscles in the body to try and spark the curiosity in me through the body. And in the educations, you will learn to look at the body and say, okay, how is the autonomy muscle in this body I'm looking at? Is there a resource? Is there a lack of resource? How can I work with it to try and keep hold of this curiosity, to see what's on, to go through the storm and see what's on the other side? Wow, who am I now? So curiosity is a thing that I think is very useful to keep hold on, and it's playing as well. Yeah, it's play with things.
It also feels for me much more opening. No, like I'm curious. It gives me a sensation of being open somehow for the possibilities. Wow. Okay. So it's kind of less than a minute per hour, like Zoom recording. But I feel like we said a lot. We said beautiful things so that people might be curious for more. Is there something else just for the end for you to say?
It's never, ever too late to learn something new and to develop and look at what would I maybe like to be better at? What haven't I learned yet that could make life better for me? I really would like to promote, a product that could do that people realize it's never too late. Yeah.